Hello guys and welcome back to the Mini Genie channel, and today we're doing a different type of video today. Today we're going to be analysing my world records on the impossible course of 4 minutes and 5 seconds and 83 milliseconds. I am a bit late, but I don't care. So basically how this is going to work is that I'm just showing you how I mostly did everything and how you could do the same thing with enough practice. It'll probably take a long time, but if you really want to, you can do that. Anyway, let's not waste any more time and get right into it. But before I say that though, if you want to see my video, there will be a link in the description. You should probably see it before I see this, as this does have lots of pauses. If you don't want to see any of that, then you can just go to the actual record. Anyway, let's go. So start off, I want to say this, that I'm going to put settings and most of the stuff, especially here, just put it on that 0.5, as most of people see right now. In the start, it's kind of hard to say how exactly to do this, but it's basically in my brain exactly where to hit. And if you go it slowly, it does hit everything that needs to be hit. It does hit the right questions. It's too fast that it might seem fake, but if we slow it down, you can see that it's not fake. I didn't mess up at that bogey bit, but that loses like 0.2. It's not a big deal. And if we want to, we can go to 0.25 to actually see. There we go. But everything should be fine now. Now we can probably put up to normal speed. The whole third of 100 questions takes less than 10 seconds. So basically, next to this is super easy. Now next here is that there's lots of 3s and 2s. If you go back a tiny bit here, we can see here that for 3 questions you just got to spam at this top right, then move quickly, and if you place your mouse at the same position, it immediately goes here to switch. I'll probably go back to 0.5 so you can see it a bit back. But basically, you go slowly, so you just wait for this, and then you go 1, 2, 3 left, and immediately it goes there. It goes now. The rest of the questions, things like that, like that. Now a good strat to this is to put your mouse right here, and it will always be on the red dot no matter what. Just don't hit it too fast, as if you do hit it too fast, you won't actually hit it. You might accidentally miss it. So just wait for it to the red dot to actually come back and then hit it. Now this you just gotta spam as fast as you can. Don't go too fast though, because then they just won't meet each other at all, which is a bit annoying. But it shouldn't be too bad. We got the carrot, and then we have the very practiced duh duh duh. If you do this consistently, you can save a huge chunk of time. Right, next is the red blue yellow, which is kind of hard to explain. It's a glitch in the game. So basically, you want to go here first. I'll probably put it on 0.25. Would be better. Exactly what you want to do is that you, just like the other question, you want to wait until all of them come up all the way like that before you hit it. Because if you don't hit it, then the game will think that the red is actually the right answer when it's supposed to be the wrong answer. You want this to be shown. You want it to say wrong answer. This means you've done it right. If you do this, then immediately you want to hit the red again. If you do that, the game suddenly thinks that you've actually done blue, and now you've done red. Skipping the 2. Doing this, that means all you gotta do is go to the blue, and then practice, just go sloom, like sloom. You can practice that all the way to the yellow, and you will get the question right. That saves more time than doing the usual blue, red, blue, yellow, which does be shorter than normal. After a couple of questions, you first use butterfly click. Really helps hand than jitter clicking. You want to use butterfly clicking to get that 12 or maybe 14 CPS, and you want to get 7 or 6 on that bomb. 7's probably pretty good. Okay, miss a bit on 66. And now the cat, very important. I'll put on 0.5 again. But one thing that's very important is that you don't want to be focusing on one bit. The main thing about the cat is you don't want to put it here. You actually want to mainly do the whole entire body other than the tail, as the tail's hitbox is pretty crap. Mainly this bit here. As you can see here, the bar goes really fast. One thing that you should know is that the bar goes slow at the start, but it actually picks up pace, as you can see here, further and further and further. So what you should know is that you should definitely just keep doing the same rotation and don't try and change it because you think that you're going slow, so you need to change it. No, you want to keep at the same pace, and it will go much faster, which is okay. Unfortunately, this is the first. Oh, whoops. Okay, so this is the first mistake. I accidentally didn't click the question, so I did lose a chunk of time, and the search was pretty crap as well, getting the 105 instead of a 104, which you should be getting if you were doing that well. Still, it's still good. It's still good as 105. And next, of course, you don't really have to do butterfly clicking here, but it just increases the odds of when the escape. Wait, actually, as you can see, when the escape first happens, boom, you can immediately press it without hesitation. While jitter clicking might just be a tiny bit frames less. It's just a tiny save. Next, the U here can actually be hard to hit, and you might want to not go too immediate if something like this can happen where you're on 1 life. And I don't want to say you go slow but this is the kind of questions that if you go too fast, you can actually just miss the life. If you have 2 lives, you can go for it. But if you have 1 life, you should probably play it safe until you get it. Now, one thing that's very, very important about this that I can't stress enough is that if you're going to try and go fast here, don't do this because you might be going fast. Make sure you cover the whole rod. If you cover the whole rod, you're going to be doing really fast. That's what happened here. You cover the whole entire rod like this. It's like you don't want to be doing this and trying to hold yourself and your hand gets all thing. If this does happen, then slowly, but just go up and down like that. Doing this makes it go super, super fast, which is always the best. Next is toenail, and the toenail is with a luck, but skill at the same time, basically based if they actually want to hit or not. This was a very good toenail, and I got around a 122, which is probably, I think it's on ties, or a tiny bit behind my pace for when I did my 407, which of course is not bad at all. It's amazing. There we go. And another usage of butterfly clicking, especially on this question, turns out that this was my first ever 7 on this question. Usually you get 6s, you never really get 7s, but this is the first time I actually got 7. That was pretty good. Next this, and then 91. Now this, I'm going to put on 0.25 speed, mainly because it's hard to actually do it good enough. And let's say, if we click play here, you're supposed to follow this rotation about this, but if you miss a slightest, it won't do 2 tiers. You have to do 1 tier. So if you miss 1, that's not good. So you kind of want to follow that pattern. There we go. But this is very good. Because of how good it is, I only lost about 0.03, which is probably not a big deal. You can speed that up right now because this question is a piece of cake. This is why I split on question 91, because 92 you never lose time unless you hit the 0.4 wrong, which comes after the bomb hits. Right now, of course, you can't hit the 0.4 before the bomb, otherwise when Mars sings, the bomb will still count down. I don't know if that's glitch or intended. It's probably intended, but that means that you can't do everything really fast and just expect the bomb to get 10. And also, you don't even try and like doing really, really fast and thinking that the Mars will finish the song before this hits 1. The whole song is about, I think, I can actually time this. I think it's about like, I want to say around 14 or 15 seconds. So if you can do the whole thing in like 0.02 seconds, which is not possible, you're still not fast enough. But there you go. And make sure that for the next question you want to put your mouse here, because if you do this, then you'll get, if I can just, there we go. If you do this, you'll get the hitbox of this part as well than just this. You get a much bigger hitbox, which means you can fling the bomb faster and still hit it, which is very good. Okay, next, this is just a waiting one. And this one with the right click, of course, Now flashplayer.exe, unfortunately, is right clicking is a bit bad. You got to actually left click twice before one action can be used, other than the actual version, which is just normal. Which is, I guess, is the biggest downfall of flashplayer not being used anymore. But that's fine. So the cat goes by, and but make sure that when you hit the dot, the cat goes all the way. Because if you do it when just the cat goes by, as soon as you left click, the cat will come right back. So make sure the cat is all gone before you click it. Then blue, red, blue, yellow. This is another weight question for 1. I recommend not butterfly clicking this, just because, as I said before, you want to actually look where the go is, dead, 1 life, and you don't want to actually lose lives that are important in some situations, and this is basically one of them. And mainly because butterfly clicking doesn't really mean anything, because you've got to start the butterfly clicking exactly, which already is already good enough. Now this 91 to the epic 10 was a golden split by 0.3, which means that it is very good, and I don't think I'm going to beat it. Now we get on to the juicy stuff, and definitely the most important. This is very important, but this is basically much more important. That's the epic 10. Now the epic 10 can basically make or break runs. As most questions, if you get it wrong, like lose a life, you don't just lose a life, you lose the entire run. So it doesn't really matter if you have 2 lives remaining. You mostly want to have 1, as I said before, so you can take risks, and it's not like you'll lose the run. As I said with I think it was 79, and the traffic light question. But it all ends here, and you can see my mouse is here. If you go here, believe the 1 and O, it will immediately go for the C. And then around about here, or should I say here, the H is hit. Now the I is in other words, the pain in the ass. The hitbox is super bad, like we're talking trash right here, okay? You can miss it by this or this, and it won't show. You have to get on point. So there's not really a buffer for it, unfortunately. Hopefully there is one soon. And then the HUA is repeated twice, like that. There we go. Now we definitely get to points, which is probably the most heavenly time of the run, is 1 or 2. Now my previous 1 or 2, as you can say here, from PB is 1180 and the best is 1092, meaning that I should be saving time here, unless I did it really badly. And even if I did do really badly, I wouldn't lose that much time at all, and I'll still be good on pace to beat my record. But I went on full mode, which I'm going to put on 0.5 again, so I can prove I'm not cheating. So basically, another thing that flashplayer doesn't do is that you can actually, in a normal game, you can right click, and the game thinks that where you right clicked, your mouse is still active. So you can actually right click here, go here, which is where the next dot is, and immediately the dot will be here, as that dot will be done by the right clicking. But that doesn't work in this one. So you just got to go to the normal strat where you got to, I wouldn't say guess, but hopefully go exactly where the dot is. If you miss that dot, that's a big time save, everything's fine. Then dot up there, up, down, donk, and immediately at donk, right there. This one, there is no dot, and the next dot, which is really tiny, is around about here. The reason why I moved my mouse, because it's not 100% accurate where the dot is. So if you get it right, this dot is the shortest one of all. The squares are no big deal. This dot, massive deal. You're going to mess it there. And the next 2 dots are there and there and there. They are very big, but they go super fast. So you need to not miss them, as if you miss them, you'll lose a life, and as I said before, you want to use the life in the other times, so it will be run death. And also, if you missed, you got to do the whole cutscene and the whole thing again, so even if you did get it wrong, the run's dead. But this was really good, and as you can see here, golden split, and it was a 1.02, saving your seconds, which is massively good. Now I don't have my current pace, so I should probably put it, but I would say that I'm on 405 pace right now, and it's not even been the crazier part of this run. Next here, I'll put on 0.5 for now. Next here, if we go back a bit, you want to be at Dissy here. That's where Dennis the Strawberry is. Immediately, as soon as you hit it, save the time. I actually save time here. And this is basically, unfortunately, the worst part of this whole run. Like, there were some couple of mistakes there in left and center, but this is the most consuming, which basically gets rid of this. Where I placed my mouse was not where the moon was. The moon was actually kind of like this. As you can see here, when the moon comes there, I am not clicking it. You're not supposed to see this. You're supposed to just click the moon. Realizing this, I immediately clicked it, but that still loses a lot of time. And I accidentally clicked this because I had a split that says on question 106. But I got rid of it because I feel like it wasn't really necessary, and because I need to concentrate on this question more for this as well. Make sure that this line of the 106, that's where the mouse will be. That's a buffer. That's where the mouse will be. You immediately, as you can see, this is where you're supposed to be. Like somewhere here, that's where the dot is. To make sure that you immediately get it, go up, down, like on the rod, so you 100% get it. Because if you stay it, then, well, what happens if you just miss it? That is a big loss. There we go. Now this is basically, all you gotta do is left click. You don't really have to do anything here. And this one, now, for this one, is kind of a mystery which way is faster or not. Some people, what they do is they do this. But I just hold it down, and it works the way.
Fuck you.
And I place my mouse here. This is, of course, another buffer, which places me exactly where the 4 is.
Sorry, guys, I'm just too scared. Sorry.
Also, when I split, as you can see here, of course, this is a bad split, I also hit the mouse as well. That's because if you just don't hit the mouse, then it turns out the 4 won't work. Because, as you can see here, I'm not clicking anything. As soon as 4-8 happens, you can see, if we go back a bit, now, because now 108 is happening, I can click the 4. Which is why you do it. It's an indicator of saying when the question started, instead of you having to guessing. Because that will be the whole entire time if you don't skip, if you don't hit it, of course. And you don't know where it starts, so you might lose some time. But now that I know that that's there, I know that it starts. So you hit the 4, and the space is a kind of a guess, but the space is kind of massive, as you can see here. I don't think you can really miss it. The 8, on the other hand, is a definitely miss. You want to hit it is just as the 108 goes into that. And then the 1, 3, 1, 5, 1, 5, and the 1, 6 are quick. Actually not the quickest, the slowest, as you gotta go the one thing. But the 23 to 42 is the quickest. You just do 23 and 42, boom. 42, boom. There we go. This is basically the most kill of this run. You can't, after this question, if you can't really make a mistake that causes the run. If that makes sense. Because if that happens, then, because that's the only one that actually, if you do something wrong, it's over. The last 2 questions are pretty simple. The next one is another jitter clicking question, which is why butterfly clicking is really, really key and definitely needs to be played. The buffer is about here, and in fact, if we go down here, where I click execute, you want to put your 7 here, as that's the buffer of where the spider monkey leg is that you can hit. Now you can actually click anywhere here. You don't have to click the bot. You can actually just click here, and it will still play the same thing. So when the skip happens, you immediately can hit this immediate to get that. Now I'm going to place the last question in 0.25 speed for a reason. After clicking this, 110, you want to place your mouse where the right line is, all the way down, keep going down, now you're going off, boom, right there. That lines up perfectly for the first skip. The skip starts as soon as it says, okay, so the last question, blah, 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 blah. As soon as it starts, you don't actually have to wait for this to say good luck. The skips are already there, already, so you can click them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, boom. game's done. You can tell that you can tell actually, you don't have to, you can tell that the run is finished, not just by, clicking the 7 skips, but the bomb actually disappears, as you can see here. So as I click it, watch this, boom, bomb disappears. That's where the run has officially ended.